Hey, what's up? It's jaydietayte, and this is a different angle. I'm sitting on my bed because it's comfy. I just got a mattress topper, so I'm kind of addicted to my bed right now. Well, I always was, but that's beside the point. Anyways, as you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be products that are really great for pale skin people such as myself. As you can see, I am pale AF. Like, I am really, really, really light. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is actually foundation, which is basically, it's the foundation of your face. So I mean, it's probably one of the most important things. So I'm going to start off with the cheapest foundations and make my way up. So yeah, to start off with, I have Wet n Wild foundations. I don't know which one's cheaper, but this one is the Coverall in Fair. I don't know if they sell this anymore. I bought this on clearance at Walmart because I knew it was supposed to be really good for pale skin people. And it is. It's really good. It's pretty ghostly white, which I kind of need because like how pale I am. Anyways, and then the next one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus in Porcelain, which I don't really like either of the formulas of these like the greatest. I like it better when I mix them because this one's really thick and this one's like really watery. And I do like a watery foundation, but I just feel like this, sometimes with how watery this is, if I'm having a really bad skin day, it's not like good to use this foundation to cover it up, whereas this one covers up really well. So it's really great to mix these two, and both of these are like perfect matches for me. Like, both of these are really great foundations, especially on a budget. I want to say they're both like around $5, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. All I know is they're great. And so this next one is actually the current foundation that I use about every single day. Well, I'm not wearing foundation today. I'm just wearing concealer and powder, which I can get away with in summer, surprisingly. Anyways, and that is the NYX Total Control Foundation in Porcelain. It is their lightest shade. This by far, I think, is one of my favorite foundations, especially drugstore foundations, because it is so lightweight. It's a watery consistency, but it's still very high pigmentation. Like, it's kind of like if I mix the two Wet n Wild ones, but it's in one foundation. And you can't see it right now because I've shook it, but I've used up like half of this stuff, and it's really good. Like, it's 14 bucks at Target, which isn't bad for a really good foundation like it is, and it's pale enough for pale people, and they have a lot of shades in this collection. So if you're watching this and you're not pale, this is still a really good foundation if you're not pale as fuck like me. See, it's got a little dropper there, which I really like about this because like this one has a spatula and then this one's just straight up a tube. But I don't know, I just really like the drop foundation. You don't need to use a ton of it, and it covers very well and is very buildable, and it's, like I said, the perfect shade for me. It's amazing. Love. Holy grail currently. And then the last foundation is the most expensive, and that is the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, and I am in the shade Light 44. I'm not in Light 42, surprisingly. This is a heavy coverage foundation. Like, this shit, you just need one pump of it and you're covered. Like, since it is so much money, I'm a lot more like conservative with how much I use of like my expensive products, and like I have had this for like a year and a half, and that's only how much I used, and this used to be my like everyday foundation. So you don't need a lot of it, and it doubles up as a concealer, and they make it in the palest of pale colors for all of my pasty white biatches out there. So next I'm going to get into concealers, and I don't remember the prices of most of these, so I'm not going to go with price range like I thought of the other stuff. So without further ado, here are the concealers. So the first thing I have is this BH Cosmetics Correct and Conceal palette. This is in the shade Light, obviously, and this palette has seen better days. Like, it's not that bad because I don't use like these two colors like at all, but as you can see, like, these two I've hit pan on. They are great for dark circles concealing, and then this is the concealer that's actually like, it doesn't look like it's light enough, but it is light enough. Like, when you put it up to me, it is a little bit more yellow toned, which I think I'm a little bit more pink toned. I can't tell. I actually like asked my mom today. I'm like, so like, do you think I'm more pink toned or yellow toned? She's like, I don't know. Some days you're pink and some days you're yellow. I'm like, I'm just a mix. I am actually a mutt, so it would make sense. But it is like a really good concealer, especially if you are yellow toned. Like I said, like some days I'm more yellow toned and some days I'm more pink toned. I don't know. I guess it all depends on how much sun exposure I have, but it's never a lot. And as for the next one, it is the Hard Candy Glamoflauge Heavy Duty Concealer in Ultra Light, which this shit is ultra light and this shit is really, really heavy coverage, and I absolutely love it. Like, it will cover just about anything. The only thing I don't like about it is that the product tends to separate a lot, so you have to shake it and like squeeze it in the tube. Sometimes you have to squeeze out the excess like juice that comes out of it because it, like I said, it separates and it's kind of gross. But other than that, it's like really good. It doesn't smell the best. Like, it has a distinct smell. Like, it kind of smells like paint. But, I mean, it's fitting considering how heavy of a coverage this is. It's like putting paint on your fucking face. Like, it's really good concealer for only, I think, $5 at Walmart. Correct me if I'm wrong. But really good stuff. And they make a lot of other shades, but they don't make a lot for, like, dark complected people. So, but this is for pale people. I'm sorry. I have experience with pale people. I don't have experience with dark complected people because I'm not a makeup artist yet. I'm planning to go into cosmetology, but that's another story for another video. Anyways, let's get on to the next concealer. And these next two are both by NYX, and they're more recent ones. This is the NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer, and this is in the shade 01. Yeah, I don't think it has another shade name. It's a little bit lighter than my actual foundation, like not a lot, but a little bit. It's for the most part my actual skin tone, which is why like I'm only wearing concealer on my under eyes, the bridge of my nose, the cupid's bow, and like highlighted areas, and then I set it all with powder. But it for the most part is not a highlighting concealer, which is really sad. You basically need a white cream or white concealer to actually highlight when you're as fair skinned as me. But overall, it is a really good coverage. It's really lightweight. Like I said, I wear it basically every day just on its own because it feels so nice and it gives such a good, like, kind of fresh and natural look. Which, let's face it, my eyeliner is not natural, but who cares about that? And then the next concealer by NYX is the Got You Covered concealer, and it's waterproof. Oh, I didn't know that. In the shade Ivory, which this stuff is basically the same as my foundation, which, like I said, like this one's a little bit lighter. Can't English. I do say English on purpose, by the way. Don't make fun of me for it. It's a joke. And then this one is like the exact shade of my foundation, I think. So it's like not at all good for even any brightening, but it is a really nice coverage concealer. Like, if I'm having a bad enough zit, which doesn't happen often anymore, but if I am, this shit will cover it. Just like the Hard Candy one will, but like I said, that one separates, so I'm like trying to experiment with new really heavy coverage ones, and this one I have found is pretty decent. So next, I guess we'll just go straight into powders. So, excuse me. First of all, I'll show you the actual powder I use to set my whole face on a regular day basis, and that is this Wet n Wild Mattifying powder in the shade Matte About You. The only thing is this is not a matte powder. Like, especially if you look at it, you can see that there's shimmer in it, and it's like, it is a translucent powder, basically. I know it looks white, which is handy for pale people like me, but it's basically a translucent powder, but it has a sheen to it, so it's not matte, but I still love it. Like, it's become my absolute favorite powder, and it's so cheap. Like, I used to be obsessed with the BH Cosmetics powder in, I don't remember what shade. It's their lightest shade. It's their Studio Pro one, which I also recommend that, but this is cheaper, and you don't have to use shipping, but this stuff is, like, really good. I also highly recommend the NYX Mineral Powder, I want to say is what it is, in the shade Light Medium. I used to use that. But I don't have any more of it, so I kind of threw it out because I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. but that one is a good loose powder, and it also is in translucent if that shade is too dark for you, which it always was for me, but I was like, don't give a fluck. And then next are loose powders. Can you tell I like buying drugstore products? Like, I'm like really obsessed with finding like a bang for your buck because I'm poor AF. Anyways, so the first one is the e.l.f. translucent setting powder, which it says it's in the shade Sheer, but I always called it the translucent setting powder. This one actually hasn't been opened. I still have an old one in my bathroom right now with all my makeup, but it was so dirty and gross, and it's like the old packaging. Like, I have had it for easily 5 years, and I still have some, and I used to use it all the time when I would set BB cream, because back in the good old days of when I didn't buy cruelty-free makeup and I used to buy Maybelline, I used to use their BB cream, which was a good BB cream, but like I said, it's not cruelty-free. Anyways, this stuff is really good for setting all around the face, and it is all I don't think I can English, but it also is really good for setting underneath the eyes, especially with a damp beauty blender, which I use the Real Techniques one. Like I said, bang for your buck. I'm kind of obsessed. Anyways, it is also good for like setting around the nose, chin, and forehead area, because I know that's like where I get oily. I have combination skin, but I get oily in like the T-zone area, so really good for that. And then the other e.l.f. one, which I do have a new one of this, but this one is my old one and it doesn't look gross and disgusting, so I thought I'd show it. It's their high definition under eye setting powder, and this is in the shade Sheer, which what I love about this is it has like little flecks of glitter in it, so when I set my under eyes, it's like, it's so freaking pretty. Like, this is like, if I want a matte look, I use this. If I want to be glitzy and glammy, I am using this shit because it makes me feel like a fairy princess. I'm so happy. Don't judge me. So I guess next is like contour and highlighting products. So I'm going to start off with a cream palette, which has both contour and highlight and a little concealer in it, and that is the, you probably guessed it, NYX, I want to say cream highlight and contour palette. Yep, and this is in the shade Light. Obviously, I'm pale. We're all pale. That's the purpose of this video. But I haven't used the concealer in here, so I don't know how good this is. But I have used this contour shade, and I've used this highlighting cream, which I don't like the highlighting cream as much as I like this contour shade. Like, this contour shade is a little warm toned for me, but I can make it work. As you can see, it looks like it's more cool toned, but it's not. Like, when you put it on, it oxidizes a little bit, and it's a little bit more warm toned, which totally works if you have yellow undertones. But like I said, I have more pink undertones. Well, sometimes I have yellow undertones. That's why I said this can work for me. But this like just gets chunky. This doesn't. Like, I like it, but I don't like. I prefer another NYX product for highlighting, which we shall get to. And since we're on the topic of NYX, we're going to talk about this stuff, and this is the Wavy Glow Liquid Highlighter in the shade, where's the shade? Liquid Prism. There we go. I'm like, always look at the bottom or the top, and it's not there. But this stuff is like, it's straight up a white highlighter, and as you can see, I've used a lot of it. Like, I love this shit. Like, I went swimming with this on once, and it didn't come off. Like, and one of my friends who's also obsessed with makeup was like, oh my god, what highlighter are you using? I'm like, NYX Wavy Glow. Like, this is perfect for pale ass bitches like myself. I just put it in the normal highlighting spots and blend it out with a knockoff Artiste brush. Anyways, so this stuff is like, I'll show you the applicator. It's just a straight up like Dofla, is that how you pronounce it, applicator. This side has a dent into it, which picks up more product. Like, this is the side you're supposed to use to put it on, and then this side you don't, which you can, and I do. Like, I always do it one swipe of that, and then I'll put the rest of the product, like, on my nose, dip it in, one swipe there, and then do the like other side on my Cupid's bow, something like that. Not necessarily in that order, but you know, it depends. So, this stuff is really good if you're pale, and then obviously I always set it afterwards. Sometimes I set it with another highlighter when I'm feeling extra goddessy, but other times I just set it with, like, straight up my regular setting powder, like with whatever's left over on my brush, or I use translucent powder, like this shit. Should be self-explanatory, but just want to cover it just in case. So let's get to another highlighter. So this is more of a highlighter if you're looking not for a natural glow, but a little bit more of a pop in your face glow. And this is the e.l.f. Baked highlighter in Pink Diamonds, which, here, let me show you. It is really cheap packaging. I'll swatch it. Like, look at that. See, it's a lot more pinky, but I kind of like that because some days I don't want to look like I'm having a glow from within. Some days I just straight up want to look like I'm a fucking goddess, which I think this does, which actually I just bought some Jeffree Star highlighters, so I'm gonna glow even more. I splurged. But like I said, like, it's, you can't really see it on camera. My lighting's terrible. I use natural lighting, I'm sorry. But if you layer it on top of, especially, like I said, liquid Prism, it looks so pretty. And it's kind of a nice, like, if you have pink undertones, it's really good. Other than that, they have a champagne one, which would look good if you have yellow undertones. Or you can be adventurous and do whatever the fuck you want because makeup knows no boundaries and you can just glow to the gods with whatever fucking color you want. Put green on your cheeks. I don't give a shit. Anyways, decided to put my stuffed hedgehog on my head. His name is Beanie. We're going to talk about like the high-end product that I will use to contour or highlight with, and that's actually the Naked 2 palette. Now, before you are like, why the fuck are you using eyeshadows on your face? Because the colors fucking are perfect. Okay, I'm gonna take Beanie off. But I will show you. This palette has seen some better days, which it's not terrible, but what I use to contour with is the shade Tease right here. I don't know if you can see how much I've dipped into it. I've definitely dipped into this. I'm so emo. And then I use the shade Bootycall sometimes to highlight, which this wasn't. Did I point to this? I meant to point to the... No, I pointed to this one earlier. Yeah. Okay, so Tease is perfect, especially for a cool-toned contour, which, like I said, I'm more of a cool-toned person. Like, well, personally, I think it looks better on me. And then, like, warm-toned highlights, for some reason, look better on me. I don't know. I'm fucking weird. I have weird skin. But then Bootycall is, like, an icy pink. It's kind of like... It reminds me of the shade Princess Cut by Jeffree Star, which I haven't gotten. I got 3 different highlights, but I've seen pictures, and that's what it reminds me of. And if you have the money to splurge on a Naked palette, I highly suggest, just because it is so versatile with looks. And like I said, you can also use it for your face if you're pale like me, which is really nice. I'm going to stop talking now. And so those were all the products that I recommended if you have pale skin. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. A lot of it is very affordable products, and I highly recommend getting affordable products. Like, splurge and treat yourself if you can, but I can't. I have other bills to pay. I just had to fix my car. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.